So there are 14 cars, actually 15 if you include the Skoda Kayak, in this sub 4 meter segment in India, which basically means that it's a very competitive segment. Now the thing is, this competitive segment is also very lucrative for the manufacturers because 60% of the cars sold in India are sub 4 meter. And this is one of the latest entrants in this crowded segment. This is the Kia Syros. Let's find out what are the good things about this car, what are the things that could be better, what are the segment first features, and if you should consider it over the 13 other rivals. Speaking of the powertrain options, you get two engine options to choose from. There's a 1 liter turbo petrol engine and a 1.5 liter diesel engine. Now the turbo petrol engine is either mated to a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 7-speed DCT, which we are currently driving, which will get into the details of it, how does it drive and a lot more. And the diesel engine is either paid to a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic gearbox. They say that looks are polarizing and there is no better example than the Kia Syros. Like, there are some people who might like it, but there are other people who might not like the design of the car, what Kia has bought into store for us. First thing is, you have a very unconventional design, especially in the sub 4 meter segment. You have the LED headlamps. Kia Syros gets two different kind of LED headlamps. This is the top end spec, that's why it gets the better one here. Lot of tiger nose treatment in the front element of the car, which is in resemblance with other Kia cars. You have front parking sensors, front camera, 360-degree camera, and a lot more. Kia has ensured that you get all the bells and whistles possible in the Kia Syros. In fact, Kia has gone a step overboard and ensure that you get level 2 ADAS in this Syros, like, which is first in segment, and level 2 ADAS in a sub 4 meter car is something fantastic considering the price bracket these cars belong to. So this gets 17-inch alloy wheels and all 4 disc brakes. However, the braking power is quite good. It's not exactly the best of the best. For example, yesterday we drove the Skoda Kayak, which has rear drum brakes and front disc brakes, and I genuinely felt that the braking of the Skoda Kayak, in spite of it having drum brakes at the rear, was better than the one here with disc brakes on all 4 wheels. That said, you have multiple alloy wheel options here. This is the top end spec. Again, just like the design of the car, even the alloys are polarizing, and I'm not a big fan of this blackened treatment for the alloy wheels. For some reason, this might look good either for the top end cars or the base cars, but something like a Syros sub 4 meter mass market SUV, probably not kind of my liking. And then you have this side cladding which is running across the car, and in the launch people felt that the cladding is a little too much, and even I feel the same, that the cladding is slightly too much. It's trying to give the sporty appearance to the car, but I think it's not exactly getting what Kia wants to convey. Apart from the fact that you get functional roof rails and massive windows in the car, which is one of the USPs of this car, and Kia is very proud of it, and the ground clearance is ample, which ensures that you don't scrape the underbelly in most of the situations. For example, there were a couple of situations when we were coming and the car did not scrape its underbelly. That shows that the ground clearance is actually quite healthy. And the length of this car starts just 5mm short of the 4 meter. So speaking of the rear design, Kia is very clear that this is a boxy design, and this might not appear to everybody, but that said, I think it's still decent enough compared to the front. You have the shark fin antenna, rear wiper, defroster, couple of parking sensors at the rear silver skid plate, and of course a proper exhaust system there with the Kia badging loud in the center. But if I have to really appreciate something, that is the reverse camera clarity. The reverse camera clarity in this car is really good, and trust me on this. We have seen cars, in fact, we recently drove cars like the Hummer EV, which had a very average reverse camera clarity. I'm not comparing Hummer EV to this, but I feel that reverse camera is something that is often neglected by manufacturers, and kudos to Kia, brownie points for having a proper reverse camera in the car. And of course, talk in the town is the boot space of the Kia Syros, which Kia claims that this is one of the best in segment at 465 liters. We have 4 bags in the boot right now, and it seems that it can take in a couple of more small additional bags. So interiors are the talk in town in the Kia Syros. Firstly, you get a 30-odd inch massive panoramic display in the front with wireless and auto Apple CarPlay. And the system integration is very nice. It feels really smooth and easy to use, trust me on that. And you have wireless CarPlay like I was mentioning, so it makes things a lot easier. You have a fully digital instrument cluster, although we aren't big fans of these new digital clusters, but this one generally has a special place because it's very nice and minimalistic, unlike the Hyundais, which have been same since probably a couple of years or more than that. And thankfully you have few physical buttons which are going to be handy when you're driving the car. There is a Type-C charger, 12-volt charger, wireless charger, and this is the drive mode selector. This is a 7-speed DCT. You have 360-degree camera, start stop button integrated right here, and everything just works flawlessly. But if there is something that we really have to point out, that is the fact that you get ventilated seats in the Kia Syros, not just the first seats but also the second seats, which we will see very shortly. And the music system's clarity is quite decent. So Kia calls this as a double decker steering wheel. Although the steering wheel looks slightly odd and unconventional, it's actually quite good to hold on and grip to. But that's it, it'll take some time for you to get used to this design and the pattern and the usability of it. You have paddle shifters here, which will help you when you're doing some good spirited driving, and there are different drive modes and traction control options here. So there are different drive mode options like eco, normal and sport, and there are different traction modes like snow, mud and sand. Not that you're going to go off-roading into this, but just that it's going to provide slightly better traction with a software tweak for your wheels. This car comes with 64 ambient lighting just to enhance the luxury coefficient when you're inside the car. So I get this very nice cup holders here. So this can actually double up as storage space, and once you push this, they become cup holders, which is actually quite cool. Speaking of the wireless charging options, the phone is kind of very easy to connect to, and as soon as the wireless charging starts, you get a light here. So yes, the biggest party trick at the rear is not just the fact that you get rears and blinds, which is again first in segment. You have a controllable air purifier with AC vents, 2 types of chargers and all that, but the rear seats are ventilated, and this is the first time in the segment that this has happened. This actually shows the transition of features and the importance of features even in sub 4 meter cars. Even if you talk about say 5 years ago, having ventilated seats itself is a very big thing in luxury cars, but now we have front and rear ventilated seats even in sub 4 meter cars, which kind of shows that consumers in India are very serious about getting the right features in the car. But that said, the ventilation is only for the lower seat, it is not there for the back seat support. You have the rear armrest with 2 cup holders, which isn't very out of the box or something, but there's a couple of small picks. You have a nice panoramic sunroof in the car. Again, panoramic sunroof is very important these days from the features perspective. Not exactly it's going to be useful in our harsh and tropical summer conditions, but having a panoramic sunroof isn't a bad idea at all, directly from the consumer's point of view. You have the magazine pockets here, which will be helpful in case you are driving on longer distances. So speaking of the rear seat comfort, the rear seat comfort is quite good. The under support is actually nice. It extends all the way forward. You have very good legroom. It's very spacious. Trust me on this. You will not feel that you're sitting in a sub 4 meter SUV whatsoever. And the craziest part is you can actually slide the second row seats, which is fantastic. So this particular Syros is powered by a 1.8 turbo petrol engine that produces 118 bhp and 172 Nm of torque. Now the thing is, this is still one of the nicest and courteous turbo petrol engines we have seen with a 3-pot motor. That's because we have generally seen that in spite of the 3-cylinder engines having turbocharged engines like say Cadillac or this one for example, there is still a bit of unrefinement which is there, and that is evident in this car only when you rev it quite hard at higher speeds. At lower speeds, I don't think you're going to have a problem as such. But that said, I would want to point out one thing: if you're buying the 3-cylinder engine for fuel efficiency, would refrain from doing so, because you can see that we've been driving this car probably for 2 hours and we are almost done with 3/4 of the fuel tank. It's not exactly very fuel efficient as such, and the steering feedback is very nice. It's super duper light, which makes driving in the city really easy, and a lot of people are going to appreciate it. However, the steering is slightly bigger and the design is unconventional, which will take some time for you to get used to. The braking power, however, in spite of the car having 4 disc brakes, it's good, it's decent, but there's a bit of additional pedal feel that you get, which I think isn't exactly very helpful when you want to do some sudden on-spot braking. The engine rests pretty healthily in the mid-range. Push it very hard and you will realize that it's a 3-cylinder motor, but like I mentioned, at low speeds there shouldn't be a problem at all. So that's about it from the review of the Kia Syros. Just to sum up this car in quick succession. Firstly, talking about the advantages, this car is feature loaded. Trust me on this, there is no other car in the segment which has as many features as this Syros. Be this car gets even rear ventilated seats just for the seats, but Kia has ensured that, name it and you have it feature in this particular car. And then the biggest downside, however, I feel that is the design. Although designs are polarizing, you watching the video might really like the design, but I generally feel that the design could be slightly better and slightly more conventional, because this is a mass market car and a very important car for Kia in India. And then speaking of other things, the practicality and space factor is considered, and Kia has ensured that it is tailoring to the mass market, the bigger family audience as well. So I feel that this car will sell for Kia, but they may not get as many volumes as they expect, because design still matters in India. That's about it. Take care, drive safe, and see you in the next video.